Jefferson County, 43952, Steubenville, Ohio.
7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville.
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville.
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough.
Steubenville.
7 years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust.
Welcome again to the Peace, Knowledge, Wisdom Experience, where we explore the Black experience in America. You are invited in to comment and dialogue with us as we search for peace, knowledge, and wisdom in a world that seems to operate without it. What we ask of you is to subscribe to our channel and help us grow. Also, share its channel with your friends and family. Hitting the like buttons helps us with knowing what kind of content you like and what we can do better. Buckle up for a great show.
We are back again, peace, knowledge, and wisdom here on Mac TV. Want you guys to really get in and hit those like buttons, that subscribe button to Mac TV Network so we can get all of you guys involved in what we're doing here at Mac TV Network. Myself, Mike McIntyre on Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom. Also, the Mac and Jet Show with Elder Michael Jet. Also, when Contrarian will be starting very soon here with Mr. Stephen Hill. Also, we're going to have Raw Reality with Greg Roby, Brother Greg, the preacher from down south. And again, we're going to have Mr. Chuck Lee on Mac TV also with a lot of his brilliant paintings and music. And so again, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like buttons on all these videos. We're starting to see a lot of followers as far as comments and people that's liking the Facebook page, but we need those people to also go on YouTube and share. And subscribe, and then also share, yes, and share the videos. Interesting today. It's just me. I don't have anybody with me today, but I got a couple subjects that I want to definitely get into. And one is podcasting / YouTube shows. I want to get in. It's a little bit about that, but it's also the hot one right now is the Katt Williams interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe. And Katt Williams, the brilliant comedian that I'm sure all of you know, seen a lot of his network specials, his Netflix specials. He had a sit-down conversation with Shannon Sharpe. And so I want to go over some of the key points of that because the reaction of it has been kind of all over the place. Some people like it, some people don't like it, some people was annoyed at certain things. But me, I want to zero in on a couple things. So bear with me here. We're going to talk a little bit about that as it relates to our community. And I'm always here at Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom to talk about the things and how they affect our Black community and kind of look at it from one opinion of many opinions on what we should be doing and seeing and looking for in our community. So let me set it up. We've got Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay. Now, what you guys need to realize when you see clips of this, you see people that's talking about what had happened on that interview. That interview was 2 hours and 46 minutes, I believe exact. And they talked about a wide variety of things. However, at the very beginning, Katt Williams kind of set the stage, let you know what you're in for. And he said he was there to set the record straight. To give you guys some background, Club Shay Shay, I think, has only been running for about a year now, maybe a little over a year at the most. But he's had a lot of people on his show. And he's had, I believe, 5 to 7 comics on his show. There could be a couple more. But I know he's had Steve Harvey, Said the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley, Earthquake. He had a couple more that I can't think of right now. I believe he had Bruce. One or two others. But again, let's set the stage. Shannon Sharpe brings you on. He says, welcome to Club Shay Shay. He has a cognac that has his own cognac that he's trying to get out there, but he always has people take a drink with him. And when he starts the show, it even talks about, his cognac sitting right there in the center of the show. And so it's kind of like a chill vibe. Let's have a conversation. So he talked with all these comedians. He asked them questions and they talk. And he basically lets everyone go. If you look at all, and I've seen many of his interviews, he lets everyone talk. But in this case, Katt Williams said from the very beginning, I came here for a specific reason. He said the reason he wanted to come on Shay, because he doesn't do a lot of interviews, he said Shannon Sharpe allows for a safe space to tell the truth and allows the person that he's interviewing, to say what he has to say. So it starts right off by him saying, you had certain people on here and you allowed them to lie straight to your face. So, of course, that's whenever you talk about lying and things like that, if you don't immediately have the facts to show that they're lying, then that's an opinion. In other words, you disagree with what they said. So one of the things he said, Cedric and Turner stole a joke of his, and it had already been discussed, and said, I guess, admitted it or knew how Katt felt, and they kind of squashed it after that. But said brought it up whenever anybody talks about whether he stole the joke or not, at least in Club Shay Shay interview, he says he never stole the joke. So if you were Katt and you're watching that, you got to kind of feel some kind of way. Next is Steve Harvey, situation with Steve Harvey. Well, first, no, let me go to Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley came on Club Shay Shay Show and said that in this movie Friday After Next, I think it was Money Mike, I apologize. Money Mike, that script, I guess the quote from Ricky Smiley is that Katt Williams stole his part. Katt Williams says, no, that's not the case. The case was several people interviewed and auditioned for the part. Then Katt Williams was called. He auditioned for it, and right away they gave him the part because he said he was perfect for it. So Katt Williams is saying, how can I steal something that was never yours? If everybody's auditioning for it, everybody could have claimed that their part because they auditioned for it. But nobody auditioned after he auditioned because he said it was his part. And he wrote a lot of the lines for that particular character. So that's a little bit of background on Ricky Smiley. He also went in to talk about Kevin Hart. He went in to talk about a lot of different people. And I don't need to go into each individual person, but as you watch it, what I want us to clear up a couple things. And one is Katt Williams went on there because people's been talking a lot of stuff about him, I guess, through the years. And that was a platform that he felt comfortable saying, hey, listen, I'm going to tell the whole truth on every situation, on everybody, or all my thoughts. That was the one thing he wanted to do. You also could tell that there's some people that he talked about that he may not like, and or they don't like him. And so that's another thing that comes out in what he's talking and how he says what he says, because that's a lot about where we're at. It's what he said in saying the truth, how he said, how he characterized certain people that he talked about. And then you can tell, I think Katt feels that either on a couple things, not necessarily that he's hating, but what he's saying is that he feels that he's being left out of this comic conversation of the greatest comics ever and presently. And he takes exception with that because I think he feels that, the people are giving these comics a certain credibility that he doesn't feel that they meet, or they're in a conversation without him in it. And to me, he thinks he's basically someone who sets the standard for comedians. So let's talk about that. What is the standard for a comedian? Well, Katt Williams says, how many specials do you have? HBO specials, TV specials where a TV executive, a TV network says, hey, we want to pay this amount of money for this person to do something on our show. The reason that's important is when you get to that level, your money is already guaranteed. It doesn't matter. You don't have to pre-sell tickets. They already assume you're big enough. You have shown that you're big enough. You have sold enough tickets to show that you're big enough for them to say, hey, we can give you $5 million, $1 million, $4 million up front to do this show, and we'll make our money from just having you as this headliner. So whether we have to buy TV, whether we have to buy space, we have to go get sponsors, ticket prices, whatever it is, you'll get your money and we'll get ours. As opposed to what most comics do, and as they come up and it gets, there's varied ways. They have to sell tickets. They have to make sure that when they go in, a promoter says, hey, we got a space here for comedians. If you want to have this headliner and get paid a certain amount of money, you got to sell the place out. You got to have this many tickets, what have you. So Katt Williams is basically saying over the last 20 years, he's proven himself to be one of the top earners and one of the top comedians. In saying that, Katt Williams is basically saying, I have the fan base. These jokers don't have the fan base as it relates to stand-up comedy. Another thing that came out in the conversation when we talk about who's the greatest, where does Katt stand amongst some of these other guys, Katt writes his jokes, and he made that clear. He writes all his jokes. He writes different new material every time he goes on the road. He says he's had 19 100 city tours. It means for 19 different times, he's went to 100 different cities and performed an act. So the next time he comes to see you, he doesn't have the same material, which means after those 100 days that he's on the road, he has to make time out or during that time to write new material. Everybody doesn't do that. Therefore, what he's saying is everybody don't put the work in. And so he questioned them, these guys. He called them lazy and things of that nature. Now, part of that, when he calls somebody lazy, that would be like a basketball player calling another basketball player lazy, a football player calling another football player lazy, a politician calling another politician lazy, a doctor calling another doctor lazy. So we may not all know what that entails, but they know. The reason that's important is that I didn't hear anybody in their reactions to what he said in any way contradict any of those things that he said about certain people. I didn't hear him contradict whether or not he had 19 specials. I didn't hear him contradict whether or not he has been selling out venues for a long time, and the numbers show that he's one of the greatest that's out there performing now. And I think where the part comes in where we don't give Katt the credit, and when I say we, I'm talking about mainstream media, what is fed to us as consumers. We're fed that Steve Harvey is the greatest comedian. We're fed that Sid is the greatest comedian. We're fed that Kevin Hart is the greatest comedian. We're fed that Chappelle and Rock are the greatest comedians, but we're never given a dose of Katt. And I think what Katt's saying is these guys shouldn't leave me out. Even if the media doesn't promote me, these guys shouldn't leave me out. They shouldn't disrespect me and say that I've stole a line. They shouldn't disrespect me, steal my jokes, and then when I say you stole my joke, come back and say you didn't, that it wasn't done. These are the things that I think that Katt was trying to get out there. Also, when you talk about sold out shows on the road, those things aren't easy to do, especially coming up. Now, once you're famous, it's easy to do. So he's not talking about can Kevin Hart sell out a stadium now. That's not what he's talking about. But what he is saying that when Kevin Hart got Soul Plane, he had nowhere near the credibility that others had, whether it was Katt Williams, whether it was D.L. Hughley, whether it was Dave Chappelle, whether it was some of these others that could have gotten those parts. He was saying, why did Kevin Hart get it without the resume? And he was insinuating some things, but those are things that the people that he's insinuating about should have came back and categorically denied, which they did not. So again, the Katt Williams situation, what I wanted to harp on is the comebacks. When you listen to Ari Spears, if you go online, listen to Ari Spears, his comeback. If you go listen to Ricky Smiley and his comeback, or his answer to what Katt Williams was saying. When you look at Ice Cube, who came on and basically said some stuff that I didn't even understand why Ice Cube even, he was supposed to set the record straight and he kind of muddled it even more. Those are the things that I wanted to discuss or talk about for you guys to talk in the comments so that we can discuss this at later on a Mac and Jet, so that we can kind of get a feedback from the community. Is why do we tear each other down? And how I say tear each other down is in a lot of the comments, what you see is, oh, Ricky Smiley's this. Why do you talk about Ricky Smiley? Oh, Katt's the greatest. They don't want no smoke from him. Oh, Kevin Hart's a plan. He's part of Illuminati. Like, we're quick to talk about what people are and raise a lot of confusion about these issues, but none of it really helps us. These are black men that make a lot of money. and have a lot of notoriety and somewhat have a lot of power. What I think we should be discussing is what other things that Katt Williams talked about. He said he's put about 46 comedians out on the road, and he doesn't ask anything from them. He doesn't sign them. He just takes them with him and gives them his audience so that they can practice, see if they're any good, hone their skills, and possibly get a big come up also. I think that's good of somebody who already has to see about those behind and bring them up. He contradicted how Kevin Hart's done it, which I've seen Kevin Hart talk about this, and this is how a lot of people do it. He's brought Tiffany Haddish up, he brought different people up, but it's almost like they're in a contract. He has signed them, so they're a part of his production company. They're a part. He's their I don't know, agent, for lack of a better term. In other words, part of whatever they get goes to him too, or they're working for a company. He's got skits for them. They go on the road with him, and in order to make his show bigger. However that works, I'm not going to say I know how to do it, but I understood what Katt was saying. The way he does it is he also talked about comedians that don't make as much, because actually he didn't say this. Shannon Sharpe heard of this and asked him about it. How some of the comedians on his shows that don't have a lot will receive an envelope sometime at the end of their tour, and it'll have a nice amount of money in it, and it's just Kevin Hart showing them love. And I just think that's a good thing, and I don't hear of a lot of other comedians doing that. Now, the point would be all those things that Katt Williams talked about. If he's wrong, why not categorically deny and say, no, I didn't do this. No, I didn't do that. He basically said him and Ludacris went, talked to somebody, and either one of them could have had a movie deal. Now, I don't think he meant this specifically, but it sounded like if Katt Williams had did whatever they wanted to do, he would have been in the Fast and Furious movies, and that Ludacris had to shut, as long as he cut his hair and got rid of those pointy sideburns, he could have the job, and I guess amongst other things. And if he did that, he implied that he would get a movie deal, 10 movies for $20 million a piece, I believe it was, or something like to that nature. And he implied that they gave him a light-skinned wife. I don't know why he needed to say all that. However, that's between them two. But again, these are the things that we kind of latch on to instead of the part of, is any of these other actors bringing people along? Is any of these other actors doing anything for the community as they come up? Or do we just have certain blacks who individually come up and the community doesn't see anything for it? But all we end up doing as a community is backbiting and choosing sides and going up against each other. And so that's some of the questions that we're going to be asking in the coming year about the way the black community rolls as relates to our celebrities, because this won't be the last time something like this happens. And even from this fallout, the fallout is big. Even Shannon Sharpe is getting a lot of rocks thrown at him for saying that if he was a good journalist, he wouldn't let it happen that way. If he would ask the questions correctly, why did he let Katt Williams go on for so long? Why was the interview 2 hours and 46 minutes? They didn't have anything to say when anybody else was on there. But all of a sudden, I guess the people who saying that about Shannon, like Shannon said, one of two things: either they're jealous about the many views, because now it's up to, I think, 34 million views on that one interview. And it could be going on. I think the record is 52 million for a single episode, a podcast or YouTube show. And it could definitely get that as it goes. But again, I don't, any of us who do these type of things, we don't claim to be journalists. What we do may seem exactly what journalists do: interviewers, news people, reporters, and things of that. However, that's not what we do. That's not how we start out. Shannon Sharpe has never said, I want to be a journalist, so I'm going to do this. And so people try to attack you about something that you don't claim to be. But I believe he did a good job as it relates to, I was very interested. I was very captivated by the interview and some of the other interviews he's done. He does a good job of asking questions, which I like some of his questions, and letting the person answer it, which is a good thing. So that's a little short, I guess, critique of what happened and what is happening with the Katt Williams situation. So tune in to the Mac and Jet show when we have more discussion like that with you guys through the comments. And when we go on live, we'll be having call-ins and things of that nature. We'll be able to pull you guys up and talk to you individually if you want to have something to go to talk about an issue. That'll be one we'll probably talk about and get a little more in depth of it. But I wanted to kind of primo that because it's the hot topic right now, and give you a couple of my views. My view on it is Katt Williams is one of the greatest comedians ever. I thought that when I first seen him, his very first special that I seen. I think I've seen about 6 of them. I loved 3 of them. I liked another one, and the other 2 were so-so. I don't put him in the category. Well, he's in the category as far as a great comic, but I believe in, if I had to pick my top 5, he would be around 5 or maybe 6. Me, I'm a Chris Rock fan. I'm an Eddie Murphy fan. I'm a Richard Pryor fan. I'm a Dave Chappelle fan. And then after that, it's cloudy. Bernie Mac is definitely in there. Red Fox is definitely in there. Some of the greats. But Katt Williams, like I said, he's in my top 10. He's in my 5 through 10, just because of his work ethic, just because of what he's done as it relates in the comic field, and his being that he writes everything that he does, puts him in that category. Not to mention, like I said, 19 YouTube, I think it's 12 Netflix specials, but 19 specials altogether or something like that. And he basically made a claim that he makes at least 10 million for each one of them. So we know he's doing well financially. Very intelligent man. I feel that not much of what anybody that he talked about changed my view on any of them. So, it's just an issue between both of them, between the individuals that he talked about. So, like I said, he didn't change my mind on anybody else. It's interesting to know that maybe Said goes around and steals people's jokes. However, I put it, when I've talked about it, I kind of look at it as, when you have musicians, people who sing songs, songwriters, people cover other people's songs. So maybe if I hear a joke, I feel that you don't deliver the joke correctly. I feel your timing is off. I feel I could have changed that around and it might hit different. And maybe I might, deliver that same, I'd say the foundation of that joke, but put my spin on it and kind of make it my own joke. Just like some people make a song their own song. I heard it through the grapevine, has been sung by 3 great singers, not 3 great singers, 3 people who the individual song did well each time. And that was Marvin Gaye, Gladys Knight, and then Roger Troutman. They did versions of Heard It Through the Grapevine. I don't think it required anybody to say, hey, you stole my record. Now, there is a difference between that, and no, I'm not naive, that when you do cover somebody else's record, there's certain things you got to get rights to do that. So I do think, and that's probably all Katt Williams want. Same thing with Mark Curry, I think it is, the other comedian that Katt referenced. Steve Harvey stole his joke. And also another joke that I think Said had stolen, that he claimed he stole, might have been a Mark Curry joke also. I'm not sure, but maybe all he wanted to say, hey, yeah, Katt did a joke like this. I kind of rearranged it, but yeah, I got to give him all the props for that joke. I just retold it in my way and fit, and then be gone about it. You know what I mean? Like, now, I don't know if he would owe Katt some money. I don't think comedians work that way. The art of, the comic art, comedians art may be a little different, but that's how I feel about it. Again, I don't want to go too far into this. I just wanted to be at a precursor and let you guys know what we might be talking about later and give you some of the background on it. But it is the hottest thing. So I say go to Club Shay Shay's show on and watch the interview he did with Katt Williams, and then obviously go ahead and watch the interviews he did with all the other comedians to see what all the brouhaha was about. I'll see you guys. Peace. And again, subscribe to the Mac TV network. Subscribe to the Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom show. Also, the Mac and Jet show. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and again, on our YouTube. Please subscribe. Hit that bell. Once you subscribe, you'll hit that bell so that you're notified of all the videos that come out. So, peace out and see you later.
Jefferson County, 43952, Steubenville, Ohio.
7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville.
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville.
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust. 7 years of hardship, seen enough. 7
Steubenville.
years of bullshit, observed enough. 7 years of
Yeah.
melodrama, burned enough. Seen a lot of sloppy cats bite the dust.